Good morning and welcome to the VolleyPod. How are you today, Todd?
Davis, it's been a tough week. First week of high school volleyball.
Man.
It's in the books now, but tryouts and cuts and putting the group together. It's jumping right back into it.
Oh man, that's a tough time, but it's also an exciting time.
Oh, it's exciting. Yeah, it's exciting. We have our group now, so they had their little bonding yesterday, Saturday.
Okay.
Kept me, the old man, out of it, so it was all good. So we'll get after it next week, and teams together now, and now it's time to start making some decisions on systems and all the fun stuff. So it's good.
That's super cool. I love that time of year. That's exciting. So we got a great pod in store today.
We'll start with skill. What do you have? I think it's your turn for the skill.
My turn for the skill, and today we're going to go with a little bit of advanced arm swing stuff. The topic today of skill is going to be 5 arm swings. Okay, so
we're trying to get kids with 1, but you're saying we need 5.
Yes. Well, we don't need 5. It'd be nice to have 5 or more. There's more than 5 arm swings, right? Everyone believes that there's one arm swing, and they try to perfect that one arm swing, but my thought is it's better to have 5 good ones than 1 flawless one, and I have some reasoning behind that, and I'll go into it. Now, the first thing is, if you can vary what you do as an attacker, you're likely to have success.
Oh, right. It's harder to read, right?
It's harder to read, right? And so everyone believes that you do this one same swing, and the reality is the best hitters have different swings for different situations, clearly, right? And I'm going to get into a couple of what those are and how to work on them a little bit.
That's an interesting thing, because all the basketball stuff I've been listening to, I listen to a bunch of the pods and basketball, and you think that something like shooting is so regimented, like you have to shoot the same way. But the latest stuff I'm listening to is, hey, no 2 shots are exactly the same. So all these shooters, a guy like Steph Curry, he's got all these ways to get his shot off, and they're different. They're not the same every time, even though there are some things that are consistent.
Yes, absolutely. And that's kind of the way I think about scoring and hitting. Like, you could have this great arm swing, but if you're doing the same thing every time, these teams will naturally catch up to you, and they'll start to read you, and it's just a recipe for
now you piqued my curiosity. I gotta hear about this.
Okay, so let's start with a simple one to see that's quite different, and it's the overpass arm swing, where you get a very tight overpass.
Okay,
and I call it the zipper. It's where you, either with a fist or an open hand, you're going to pop it and zip it up.
Pop it down,
either with a fist. It's clearly a different arm swing.
Oh, definitely. You can't follow through, right?
You can't follow through because you'll net. So you just pop the top of it. I call it the zipper because you zip it up.
Oh, so you're pulling it back up afterwards so you don't net.
Exactly.
Interesting.
So pop and pull. And I really
wow.
like to use the fist on this. You can get a little bit more, a little pop, and the control's not as much of a factor because you're just on top of it anyways. Yep. So that's the first one. So that's a different arm swing, right? And
I love it. It's specific to something that happens, and hey, when you have that opportunity, you want to score. They make that high overpass that's sitting on the net for you with no block, and you want to bounce it.
Yep, absolutely. And if you can take a step and take a full arm swing and get a little depth off the net, then you could do that. But if it's on the net, there's this very particular arm swing.
Right, and hey, defenders are good enough now where if you try to redirect that sometimes, they just come under it and get it. So
absolutely.
Being able to pop it with the zipper, I like it.
Okay, I like it too.
Number one.
Number 2, the safe cut shot. Okay, the safe cut shot is not the same as the pure straight over top spin, right? And what I want to emphasize on this one is this is a slightly different arm swing. Really, it's just the pointing the thumb, down, if you will, or at the ball, or getting the hand to the, inside of the ball. But what I would like to emphasize with this is a different arm swing, and it should stay safe within your shoulders. If you start to reach across your head or way outside your body line, you can either become high error or become stress the shoulder.
So by safe, you mean that you're aligned.
Exactly.
You can't hit it when you're not aligned.
Exactly.
So if you're going to hit this cut shot, whether you hit it, you're a lefty. So if you're on the, the left, then it's a little pure going cross court. But if you're on the right, that that thumb down is a little tougher, right?
Yes, and I correlate thumb down kind of to throwing a bunch of curveballs for a young player.
Yeah.
I don't think you should be doing a ton of thumb down, especially outside your body line, because it really stresses the shoulder.
Yep.
And so one of the big points here is, can you hit a sharp angle without cutting the ball? So you just pivot around the ball and pretty much hit straight. This would be a pure straight arm swing.
Interesting. So you're hitting straight. So you're not really hitting pieces of the ball here. You're trying to hit it straight.
Exactly.
Okay.
And so that's basically a normal arm swing, where you wrap around it and you're just kind of basically facing sharper angle.
Okay.
Right?
So the set's inside and you just kind of go with it, right?
Yep, absolutely.
Okay.
So I call that the cut safe, safe cut shot.
Okay.
Right? Avoid reaching, wrap your feet to the outside of the ball and be able to hit sharp without cutting.
Okay.
Okay. The thumb up, right, is a different arm swing. Oh, and really quick, with the thumb down cut, the arm has to slightly circle, right? It kind of has to make a little inside circle. So that's slightly different than just a pure normal swing.
Okay.
Okay. And then the thumb up, same thing. It has to circle from out to in slightly when you're going for that thumb up. Now, I love the thumb up. It's the one I teach second.
Okay.
I think it's healthy for the arm, and I think it's pretty easy for them to do and fairly natural motion. And you can face angle and go back to the line pretty easily, I think, for young players. So I like that one. And as soon as they can hit a normal topspin ball, I go with that thumb up. Okay, so that's a slightly different one. And then I love this one, but I don't see players using it, the crossbody line. Okay, I wish more players would use this one. Face sharp, let the ball go slightly to your right shoulder or just to your midline, and then hug yourself. I love this cue, hug yourself. And this one, you are hitting a piece of the ball, you're taking a thumb up, and you're going crossbody without ever turning into the line. So that's the fourth one. Okay, and Ingapeth, one of the best players in the world, he's got this insane one where he just bounces it straight down. But the thing is, the players can't see it, right? It's very deceptive.
Right.
And if you do it right, you can hit it very hard, actually. And then the high flat.
See, that's one that we just started teaching, the high flat. And for us, we're going to be small this year, so the high flat's going to be something that has to be in our hitter repertoire, and all the out of system hitting you do. And you look at, I was at the college Final Four, and the high flat was huge for those guys. I mean, how many kills are they getting? Yep. Women's volleyball is starting to, it's copying men's volleyball.
Yep. And it's a slightly different arm swing, right? It's a flatter elbow position, right?
I'm telling them, Harry, they're jumping up and hitting a float serve.
Serve it, yes.
Yeah,
absolutely.
They're jumping up and hitting a float serve. So
yes.
It's a different arm swing.
Absolutely. So there's 5 different ones.
Go through those 5 again.
Okay, so we got the overpass zipper.
Okay.
Okay, we got the safe cut shot.
All right.
Where you're cutting with your thumb down but within your shoulder blades. You have the thumb up. Okay. You have the cross body line, which is related to the thumb up. You just kind of don't turn into it as much.
Okay.
Kind of cross body. And then the high flat, where it's more of a serve. Right, so 5 different arm swings. And I think when people think about scoring, you should be giving the defense different looks.
Yep. I got one more.
Sure, let's hear it.
I'm going to throw a number 6. I'm jumping into your
skills.
Jumping into your skills.
Sure. What is it?
We gotta put in a marshmallow.
Oh, I love it. Tell them the marshmallow.
So the marshmallow is, so you take your hand and it stays super firm, and it's not really a swing, it's a push straight over the block.
Okay.
So you're not pushing it down, but you're pushing it with a super firm hand, but just pushing it kind of jabbing it over the block into the middle of the court.
I love it.
And Stanford's using it. I mean, all the big teams are using it now, and I think the college coaches are complaining that kids are, it should be illegal because they're pushing the ball. I don't want them grabbing it. I just want to push it into the middle of the court. So
I love that.
Put the marshmallow in the campfire. The campfire is right in the middle of the court.
I love that. And so I guess from the coaching standpoint, there's a couple things, right? Can you practice these different arm swings?
Yep.
Right? And not just say, I want this one beautiful arm swing, right? Like there's a bunch of different arm swings you can do to help them score. And I got a couple cues that I love. And I think you'll appreciate this because, okay, there's this phrase that I use, high with a twist, you just can't miss.
Okay. I love the teaching cues.
Low and straight, getting blocked will be your fate. So I mean, just simple stuff like that. I've given some attacking principles.
English teacher, we got the little rhyming couplets. This is all good stuff, Davis.
So that's the skill is 5 different arm swings, but actually we made it 6 with the marshmallow.
Awesome. I had to throw in the marshmallow.
I love
the
it.
newest one that I'm going with.
That's super cool. So
awesome.
We're on to the scenario. What's the scenario?
The scenario, Davis, I'm right in the middle of it right now, and I had it last year, and you don't have it as much in club, but I'm at a small school, and I know there are a lot of high school coaches that tune in and from small schools, and there are times when kids have to change positions.
Yes.
So the scenario is what happens when you come into the season. Last season, my high school season, we came in, we had one setter of our top 20 kids. This year, we came in with 2 middles of our top 20 kids, and then one of them went to tryouts at your club. I guess it's our club. I can blame you, but it's our club. And what did she do? She blew out her knee, ACL, MCL. So we went from having 2 middles to 1 middle. So all week I've been searching for middles. I've been. So how do you approach working with players to change their position in that scenario? So you know me, I'm a 10 tips guy. So I have 10 tips for it.
Perfect.
All right, number 1. You begin with philosophy. So on day 1, the first thing we did is we said, hey, we're into effort, teamness, attitude. Teamness is we're going to ask everybody to make sacrifices. So before we talk at all about any positions or anything, we are kind of setting the stage for we're going to ask you to make a sacrifice at some point. I don't know what it's going to be, but we're going to ask you.
Okay.
Number 2, use underclassmen when possible. So if I have an outside hitter who is, in the middle of getting recruited, do I say, hey, you're the person I need to move to the middle? Hopefully not. I mean, if that's the only thing I can do, then maybe, and I know that's a hard sell. But if I can use an underclassman, then I definitely go for that. So
and they're eager to get on the court.
Well, right. Well, that comes up. That's when you're a little ahead of me now. Number 3 is use the tryout phase to your advantage, because when they're trying out, they're more malleable. So if they haven't made the team, I can go, hey, what do you think about playing middle? Would you think about playing another position? Right. So that's used to my advantage. Okay. Number 4, talk about it as an experiment.
I like that idea.
Hey, you guys are smart. We only have 1 middle here. We need middles. We're going to experiment with this and try a bunch of different people. And that really gets into the next one as well is talking to players and really talking to them individually. Okay. And saying, hey, can you find this good fit, where, hey, that is, can you offer a position change that might offer more playing time? Okay. And that's what you were saying, when you talked about, you get a little more playing time. So, hey, what's the best fit? So if I have, let's say, a right side who is, behind a senior or something, I go, hey, what do you think about playing a little middle and kind of experimenting and seeing if we can teach you a little bit and see how fast you take to it?
I like that.
The next one, number 6, is don't surprise the player. So don't just bring them one day and go, hey, we're changing your position. So we want to say, hey, let's think about this. Think about, hey, we need middles. we're looking at a bunch of different people. Think about this, and when you come in tomorrow, we might throw you in a couple things to just see how it works. So
I like that.
The next one is probably the most important one, and that is don't do it with one player.
Okay.
So if you think like, hey, you have one player in mind and she'll be the best, but you do it with like 1 to 3 players, hopefully, maybe 4, and then when she's the best, you go, oh my gosh, you were so much better than everybody. We have to choose you.
I love this idea.
And so
that's great.
That idea of getting more than one player. Give that player, number 7, give that player individual attention. So go, hey, we're doing a pull out. We have a one-on-one private with you because we're talking to you about middle transition.
I like that.
And so here's how you land and transition off, call your set, and we'll set you the ball. Number 9, if the player agrees to make the switch, when that happens, that becomes a big team situation where we call the team together and go, Mary, we asked her to do something that is not in her best interest, but it's in the team's best interest. She's changing position. We talked about that right on day 1. We talked about being a great teammate and putting the team above yourself. And this is the perfect example of Mary doing this for us. And I want to make sure you guys realize how much she's sacrificing for us, and this is a great thing.
That's so cool.
And then finally, number 10 is send the email home. Send the email home to mom and dad saying, hey, I'm so proud of your daughter. I know this is probably not in her best interest right now at this point, but we think we're going to be coaching her so much in this position. And if she's a right sider, it's really going to improve her movement. It's going to improve her aggressiveness. And when she goes back to the right side in club season, she's going to be so much better for the experience of playing the middle for us.
Absolutely. I love it.
Those are the 10.
That is really, really cool. And I think my favorite thing is how you tie it back to the values.
Well, we start there. We try to start there and end there. So it's kind of bookended with the values.
I love it. It's just really cultivating that team aspect and making them feel proud of their sacrifices for the team. I love it.
But it's not, Davis, this stuff isn't easy.
No, absolutely.
No, I mean, there are kids and parents who are very tied to positions, and it's, you have to be a salesman a little bit with this and take it slow and, be patient. And I try to really make a big deal with those kids when we set them. And I said, hey, if we've moved a lot of kids into middle.
Right.
Because nobody wants to play middle.
Yeah, middles are hard to come by.
Yeah, they're hard to come by. And I mean, I'm in a small school, and we got to move kids into the middle, and so if we do, we try to set them a lot. That's kind of their reward.
That's a great idea. So. Absolutely, super cool. That's a really great scenario.
Okay, I'm glad you like it. So now you had players change stuff, and have you had times when you've changed kids when you were doing the high school thing?
Oh, absolutely.
Where were you moving them?
I mean, all around. I think I like to do what you were talking about is get some of the underclassmen playing middle, get them some experience. And I actually really, really believe what you said towards the end there, that playing different positions is good for them. Well,
the thing is we have one of our favorite players that we share, that I was worried about because I knew she wanted to be, she wants to be a college libero, obviously, and we're talking about, my favorite, Matsushi, my favorite kid, and played for you, and I was worried because, she comes in and she's playing with Sid, who's probably the best kid we've ever had, and we have to move Matza, and so we move her to attack a little bit, and I thought she was going to fight it, and now she's coming in as a left side attacker. She's going to be getting a ton of sets. And she's kind of got a can. She hits it, She's got some heat. And she said, I took a private hitting lesson, And so I'm all fired up now.
That's super cool.
So when kids embrace it, and that doesn't always happen, but it happened in that situation.
And I actually think it makes you a better coach when you have to figure stuff out like that. Meaning lineups where you don't necessarily have middles and outsides and setters and everything. It makes you figure out.
And that idea of being a volleyball player, and I think we've done, our game has done a bad job in many ways of pigeonholing kids, and the idea that they can have this kind of big body of knowledge and have a skill set where they can do a bunch of different things. Hey, she's a hitter now. Is it good for her as a libero to think about what goes through her mind as a hitter when she's a libero, and saying, hey, when I get blocked, what do I do next? If I get dug, hitting sharp angle, then what do I do next? And now she gets that process from the other side, so it's kind of cool.
That is super cool. So, right on. That's a great scenario. So,
all right, now we go to, you have some videos.
Yeah, we got some videos. We are going to talk about these videos that are going to be unlocked on the AOC website.
Perfect.
Right? And there are a bunch of great ones on there. The first one I'm going to talk to you about is this one where it's hitting high, over the elastic hitting. And it is with Mark Rosen, okay? And the idea is, can you hit above the elastic? Can you hit above the block? Everyone hits down to where the net is, and the idea is if you're really a strong hitter hitting with shape, the ball should be going up off your hand, and they just put an elastic across the antennas and say, can you hit above the elastic and still hit hard with topspin in the court?
All right, Mark Rosen from Michigan, that's good stuff.
Hitting
you know what we did this week?
Sure.
I'll tell you.
Yeah.
We raised the net to men's height trying to do that.
Yes, so that's really cool.
Well, we say it's really cool, Davis.
Yeah.
But we struggled. We struggled. And, my team wasn't happy because we weren't very successful. And there were a bunch of errors, and, we make hitting errors in the net. That's my little pet peeve, so I wasn't happy. But at the end of it, hey, it's August 2nd. And we have a high net, and we're trying to, change behaviors. We're trying to hit higher.
I think that's super cool.
So it's good that we struggled,
yes.
Even though for an old guy like me, I gotta fight it. I fight it.
I totally know what you mean. I think that's great though.
But no, I love that. Like, hey, and the having the elastic up there is cool. What else? What else do you have?
So next we got some arm swing fundamentals by Terry Liskevich, basically one of our favorite guys.
Old school, the first guy, the founder.
Absolutely, and he's got some fantastic stuff about developing your arm swing mechanics and wrapping around the ball, being safe as you land, and just some really, really fantastic stuff about the arm swing mechanics and some of the stuff that we were talking about earlier about, how you can create turns without doing a ton up top with your shoulder and your wrist. Super cool technical stuff.
Good stuff.
And then even more technical, one of my favorite teachers, if you want really, really in-depth technical knowledge, is Mas Shibata. Okay, critical analysis of the attacking arm swing. This is not just one video. This is a long series of videos, and it is absolutely in detail, broken down.
He is so good at putting all the video stuff together. There's nobody better.
Absolutely. So this is a critical analysis of attacking arm swing, and what the big takeaway is if you can get your arm loaded, and all these hitters do, then you're going to be in a pretty good shape to be able to do a bunch of stuff.
So start with getting loaded. We've been working on that this week.
Yep. And then the final video I have is just a YouTube video.
Okay.
And I mentioned this guy is one of my favorite guys to watch, and he does a lot of the creative attacking stuff that we were talking about. Irvin Ingapeth.
Oh, reminds me of a young Davis Ransom.
I wish. I just wish. I mean, this guy is fantastic if you haven't watched him, but I have about a 4-minute video on there of some of his awesome swings. He is super creative, and he does a lot of the stuff we were talking about, like some inside pivots, some cross-body line. He does a lot of really, really cool stuff. So those videos will be
He's got a variety pack.
He's got a variety pack. He's about 6'3", 6'4" outside, one of the best in the world.
Yep.
He's insane. So all those AOC videos will be unlocked, and then I also put the YouTube video in the show notes, so you can check that out too.
All right.
Awesome.
That
so now we're on
to our resource.
Resource.
And this is it's an easy transition to the resource, because our resource is from our the pod presenter is the Art of Coaching, and
Absolutely.
It's week 1 of my season, and the cool thing is I've been on the AOC website all week. just picking up all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
And the great thing about it, well, I'll tell you a couple things that I used this week. So some of the quick hitters we talked about Jim Stone's quick hitters, and then a couple others. I showed my team.
Okay.
I said, hey, this is what we want to look at with shuffling behind the ball in serve receive. This is what we want to look at when we drop step for a ball that's served deep. And so I'm able to put together some of the clips from Jim Stone's quick hits, and then put those with our own clips that I have from our team last year. So, well, hey, this is Jim Stone on the AOC site with his junior national team, and this is Sid Bold last year against Country Day, doing the same thing.
So cool.
This is what we're looking for,
right.
For our young kids. So getting those great videos, and then there's some teaching going on there as well. And teaching the slide attack, I pulled that up too, because that's something that we haven't done. So just a bunch of the short videos that we get, like 2 minutes, that we have our players watch and use. That's been so great for us, for me to be on that site. And then I showed you a couple handouts that we have as well.
I love those. Those are cool.
That I, was diving into some of the resources they have available and some of the printouts they have, because we're putting in our system and trying to find the best system sheets to write in all the rotations, and they have some great ones there. So go to the AOC website, and they have the 2-week free trial. You can get everything on there. No credit card is needed.
Okay.
You just jump right on there, and hey, beginning of your volleyball season, there is no better place to go for the first 2 weeks of your season than to have that resource at your fingertips with thousands of videos, a bunch of printed website stuff. There's every subject you want. You put something in the search, and I go on deep dives. It's scary because my wife's talking to me, and she's all, Todd. Oh, what? And, I'm down. Down an AOC rabbit hole, and it's so great.
When it's so rich,
I get lost.
It's so rich, and so many great voices on there, right? And that's what I love about AOC is they really incorporate a lot of different takes on stuff,
right?
And so you can.
And I don't agree with everything on there, and not every time I don't like that one, but this one over here is great. And that's the great thing is, hey, there's a bunch of different ways to do it.
It is so rich. I would highly recommend people check it out if they're not already on it.
Right.
And
2-week free member. I mean, hey, what can go wrong?
Do it right now before your season.
No, this is the perfect time.
It's the perfect time.
Perfect time.
Right on. So we hit so many cool things today. We talked about 6 different arm swings. We ran through the scenario of switching positions, right? We talked about these videos that are going to be unlocked on the AOC website. And we talked about one of our favorite, most rich resources that we use all the time, the Art of Coaching Volleyball's website, right? It's got all these tons of videos and tons of other, not only videos, but resources, printouts, tons of great stuff.
Yep. Blogs, we got it. Yep, bunch of stuff in there. Well, we're in the season, Davis.
We're into it.
We're getting after it.
We're getting after it. So what a fun episode, and we'll see you guys next week. Thanks for being with the VolleyPod.
Thanks, Davis. See ya.